Saint Ignatius of Loyola, the man who taught us how to listen to God, go forth and set the world on fire. Saint Ignatius of Loyola, what happens when a vain soldier chasing glory is suddenly left broken on a battlefield? What happens when God meets a restless heart and turns it into a flame that ignites the world? This is the story of Saint Ignatius of Loyola, a man who went from being obsessed with fame and honor to becoming one of the greatest spiritual masters in the history of the Church. If you've ever struggled with direction, with hearing God's voice, with making choices that matter, Ignatius has something life-changing to offer you. Let's explore the story of the saint who gave us the spiritual exercises and discover why they still matter today. Ignatius was born into nobility in Spain in 1491. As a young man, he dreamed of becoming a famous knight. He loved courtly romances, flashy clothes, and heroic tales. But in 1521, during a battle at Pamplona, a cannonball shattered his leg, and his worldly dreams along with it. While recovering, Ignatius asked for books about knights and adventure, but the only books available were about the life of Christ and the saints. Reluctantly, he read them, and something began to stir within him. He noticed something strange. When he imagined worldly success, the joy faded quickly. But when he thought about living like the saints, serving God completely, a deeper peace stayed with him. This was the beginning of his spiritual awakening. And this was the seed of something profound, learning to discern the movements of the soul. From that insight, Saint Ignatius eventually developed what we now know as the spiritual exercises, a powerful method of prayer, reflection, and discernment. It wasn't about lofty theology. It was about learning to recognize how God speaks in your daily thoughts, emotions, and decisions. The exercises guide you to ask, what brings true peace and what brings unrest? Where is God leading and where am I resisting? How do I let go of attachments that block God's will? Ignatius taught that every choice we make should flow from one central desire: to praise, reverence, and serve God in all things. His most famous prayer says it all. Take, Lord, and receive all my liberty, my memory, my understanding, and my entire will. Give me only your love and your grace. That is enough for me. This isn't just about monks or mystics. Ignatius believed anyone, rich or poor, priest or parent, student or worker, could encounter God personally and powerfully. Ignatian spirituality isn't just about having better prayers. It's about having a better life, one lived with depth, clarity, and purpose. In a world filled with noise and distraction, Saint Ignatius teaches us how to reflect instead of react, listen to the heart instead of being driven by impulse, find God not just in the church, but in all things: work, relationships, suffering, joy. At its core, his way is about interior freedom, being free from disordered attachments so we can truly choose what brings us closer to God. That's why the Jesuits, the order he founded, have shaped centuries of education, mission, and intellectual life, because at their root is a radical availability to God's will. Maybe you've been at a crossroads, unsure which path to take. Maybe your soul has been restless, pulled in many directions. Maybe you've prayed, but felt like God was silent. If so, Saint Ignatius offers you a light. His life reminds us, God often uses our brokenness to begin his greatest work in us. The cannonball that crushed his leg became the doorway to a transformed heart. So today, take a few moments of silence. Ask yourself, what brings me lasting peace? What might God be inviting me to let go of? What is the deep desire beneath all my desires? And if you want to go deeper, try a simple Ignatian practice like the daily examen, a short reflection at the end of the day to notice where God was present. Because God is speaking, the question is, are we listening? Let's allow Saint Ignatius to guide us toward a deeper, freer, more courageous life. And like him, may we live not for ourselves, but to set the world on fire.